Welcome, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Saxe on this fine summer day. It is June the 26th, 2022. Let's take a moment, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and let's just take a deep breath. And be right here and right now. I love in the morning to just think about, with every fresh breath, you're greeting that new day with gratitude. A brand new day, an unwritten page, full of possibilities. That give us this day our daily bread, meaning we are given everything we need for this day, not just to survive, but to thrive. So we cast aside everything unlike that thought in this time. Any busy thoughts, any concerns, any worries or frets, any judgments or fears. Can we just lay them down in the spiritual altar within and let them be held in the arms for this time? Can we give it over, give it up to be cleansed and renewed, to allow our perception to be shifted, a new way to be present and to show up. So in this time, we relax. We are where we need to be, when we need to be, with all that we need to be peace. And we let it be so. Thank you, God. Together, please. Holy Spirit dwells in me. This is my This is from Alan Cohen's Dare to Be Yourself. The fiction of can't. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is beyond our reach unless we allow a barrier to stand between ourselves and our dreams. The bricks of such a menacing wall are forged with thoughts of I can't. Impossible is a concept that exists only in the mortal mind. It is not a part of the world that God created. God's world is one of endless possibilities. If we perceive a dead end to our potential, we have wandered into a perilous room of illusions. Never agree that limitation is real. Aerodynamic engineers have analyzed the bumblebee, and after studying the size, mass, weight, and strength of the body and the wings, they came to the conclusion that such a creature is impossible. The size and strength of a bumblebee's wings, these scientists tell us, cannot support its body. Thank God no one told the bumblebee. I love those beautiful, intelligent creatures, and I am glad that they never studied with the teachers who believe they are impossible. Our great need is to turn our minds in the direction of possibility thinking. To see the potential rather than the problem is the all-important difference between those who ride the surf of life joyously to the shore and those who flounder in the waves. As A Course in Miracles asks us, do you want the problem or do you want the answer? Are you attached to being right about the dilemma, or are you ready to find a way out of it? As Richard Bach reminds us, argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours. Argue for your freedom, and sure enough, you are empowered. The door to all the power in the universe is in your own mind. When asked, where lies the key to the universe, the guru answered, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that there is no key to the universe. The good news is that the door has never been locked.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today's inspirational moment, Laws of Love by Margaret Pounders. The word is individuality. When we make such statements as, I am healthy, wealthy, inspired, and loved, we are not referring to me, the personality, but rather to I, the perfect idea, the seed, the I am of God, planted in each one of us. In Lessons in Truth, H. Emily Caddy describes it in this way. Personality applies to the human part of you, the person, the external. It belongs to the region governed by the intellect. It is the contradistinction to the inner or real man. Individuality is the term used to denote the real man. We must realize that the true I, individuality, is always at unity with the Father, the source of all good. Therefore, when I say that I, the child of God, am all and have all, I am speaking the truth about myself. As soon as I am able to conceive me, the personality, that this is true, then it becomes fact. Then it becomes fact in the world of phenomenon as well. And if y'all will repeat our affirmation, please, 3 times with me. I am unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. I am a unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. I am a unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, Whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when the faith shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, the trumpet will sound, and together we'll sing, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul.
Thank you. Candy Williams, everybody in the house. Thank you so much. And Stefan, of course, magic. So I felt that deep, deep, deep. Those gifts. So music is so healing. And when she was singing that, didn't you believe her? You could feel it. Thank you. What a gift. When I was a little girl, I grew up in Staten Island, New York, but I was born in Florida. And I was just only a couple years old when we moved. And so all our relatives were back in Florida. And so we would go in the summers and visit them. And then I guess when my father decided we were old enough not to cause too much trouble in the wild, we decided to start meeting my grandparents halfway and camping. So we would meet in the Blue Ridge Mountains and camp, and it was lovely. These just wonderful summers. So my dad was also a big force in the Boy Scouts, and so he loved, nature and figuring out how to do things. And so he said, "Why don't you come with me? Let's go forage. I want to try something." So we went out, and he was looking for edibles out. And so he decided to make a salad, and we came upon this gorgeous field that had all this it had clover in it. So we're picking clover, and I can't really recommend it in a salad, but it was a nice gesture to try, doing this. And I don't know that it went over real big, but we had a lot of fun picking it. So we're picking it, and all of a sudden my father goes, well, I'll be. And he picks up, and he's got a 4-leaf clover. And I was like, oh, it's magic. Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. And I was like, we can't eat it. Can I have it? And we ended up giving it to my mom. She pressed it in her Bible, and the whole bit. And it was just really this fond memory, obviously. I've remembered it for many, many years. So there was something about that just kind of opened my heart a little bit to these little magic things that you hear of, but they never really happen to anybody you know. So fast forward, and I'm about 14 or something, and I've got this little guinea pig that's my pet. And we always had it indoors, but one summer day, we all decided to go outside and sit outside, and we made this little fenced-in area and let the guinea pig, my dad goes, put her down. She never gets to put her feet in the grass. So we put her down there, and I go, wait a second, you put her in clover. I go, what if she eats a 4-leaf clover? He goes, what are the chances? I picked it up. Here's 4-leaf clover with one bite out of a leaf, right? And his face went white, and he goes, what are the odds? He said, not only did that happen, but right as you said that she did that, And I think that inspired my dad a little bit. So 4-leaf clovers became a thing in my world that were a sign. And so they tended to show up. They just would show up, and I'd go, oh, I know what that's about. That was a little encouragement about this thing that's going on in my life. Or that's a little encouragement about that thing that's going on in my life. And then when my grandfather passed, it was the first person, I think I was lucky in the sense that it was the first person I knew that personally who had passed, and I was already like 21 years old. So I was lucky I had not lost someone close prior to that. But it was such a shock. It was like he was here one day and gone the next. And it was like, I had my beliefs, and I knew he was around, and I have to just mention that he was quite the prankster, so everybody was a little nervous about what he might do when he was invisible, I can tell you that. But on the other hand, I was sitting there going, God, and I was grieving, and I was like, send me a sign, send me something that you can hear us, that you're with us, I want to know that. And I remember everybody's gathered in the kitchen, they're talking about us flying back to where he grew up in Iowa, and blah, blah, blah. I go out into the yard, and there's clover. And I went, oh, that would be perfect. Send me a 4-leaf clover. And I'm looking, expecting it. I'm not seeing it. I sit down, and I'm digging. And the next thing I know, I just have tears streaming down my face. And I'm digging and digging and looking, and I'm not finding it. And then there was a point at which I went, if I found it now, it wouldn't mean much because I'm trying too hard. It's not like it wouldn't be a sign anymore. So I got up, and I was like, okay, that's not my sign. And I went on, and we flew back to Iowa, everything involved, and all the shock of going through all of that the first time and so forth. We go to the wake, we have the wake, and it's a very long day. He had very many friends that wanted to come, and so his daughter, my aunt, and I decided we were going to go get some food. So we walk out, and she had parked over this little stretch of grass. We walk out, we step, we're crossing over to get in the car. I look down, and there's a 4-leaf clover. And I went, okay, thank you. Now it means something. I wasn't looking for it. And you did it right on the lawn of your place, And it's magic, right? It's just that, I can't explain that. I don't know how, but Spirit is there. It's this little cosmic wink that says, divine order is happening here somewhere, somehow, right? You get that signal. So then I want to tell one more story about 4-leaf clovers. It's just, like I say, it became a thing for me. And so I found that after that, they would only show up if I kind of had already made an affirmative decision about something, and they would kind of show up to say yes about that thing. And so I was at a retreat, and I was a young woman and very confused about relationships. Let's just put it that way. That's the most succinct way to put it. And I was walking along, and I said, the thing is, I know I have a lot of love to give, but I get all weird about things, and my emotions run high, and I just need to not give my power away. I look down, there's a 4-leaf clover. I go, yes, great, I got my 4-leaf clover. And so I go on, and I'm going through the week of the retreat, and it's fabulous, and I'm learning all this stuff, and I meet this guy, because there's always that, right? And so we have these wonderful conversations. We have, we connect, and I'm like, is something happening here, isn't it? All those things you do. And ultimately, I was like, I don't know, if anything's going to happen here, but I'm trying to give this up. I'm trying to remember what this message was. And the last day I said, okay, I'm just going to write him a note and give this up and say, it's okay for me to have a relationship that is just a great connection with someone and it's platonic. And that's probably very healthy for me. So I write this note to him. I look over on my nightstand, and the 4-leaf clover is there. And as an afterthought, I just stuck it in the card because I thought, well, wouldn't it be cute to include this, where I didn't even make reference to it in the note or anything, but just like, oh, 4-leaf clover, that's neat, kind of thing. So I put it in the thing. I put it under his door. I go on about my business. Later, I run into him. Oh, no. So, there's chaos. It's the last day. There's 500 people getting all their luggage out the door, saying goodbye to each other. They're crisscrossing in the lobby, everything. This has been going on a while. I drag my stuff down. I go down into this very busy lobby. I look down on the floor, and there's the 4-leaf clover. And I pick it up, and I'm like, nobody saw this. It came back to me. It was like, okay, that's really crazy. And then I went, oh my God, because it was about not giving my power away. And it said, don't give this away. This is about your power, right? So I was like, I get it. Thank you. Great message. Talked to the guy later, and he's like, I never saw it. I just read the note on the way downstairs, that, that kind of thing. And so the signs are amazing. My point of all of this is to say, I think we get and you all have stories. I know you do. I've been in classes with you. We have those stories of those inexplicable little magical signs that we get. Those little cosmic winks that we get. And it feels like magic. But I use that term to say, it just means we can't explain it. It just means we don't know how it happened. The reasoning behind it is invisible to us. But I believe that it's that cosmic wink from Spirit that is like the cherry on top. And it's just to remind us that underneath it all, deeply rooted, not way up here where this little thing showed itself, but deeply rooted is this connectedness that we can't see, but it's there. It is there for us. It is ever working for our good. Magic. It appears magic only because we don't know the how of it. We don't understand all of it. And science, the more science knows, the more they can explain how amazingly connected we are. But they're never going to be able to tell us everything about how incredible it really is. And so I think these little things happen just to say, guess what? There's a conspiracy out there for your good. For good to be happening to you. And that if we have the eyes to see, that we can be lifted. It's to say, hey, you're on the right track. Or, how many of us have numbers that, if 33 comes up, that's the big one in our family. Or 1111, or blah, blah, blah. And those are signs for you. Well, you're going to notice them more once you have sort of tagged it in your mind that it's a sign for you. Because now you've told Spirit that means something to you, so it will show up for you more. You will notice it. And how many things do we walk by that we don't see? I wonder about that sometimes. But I love that Spirit speaks our language. It comes to us in ways that will be delightful to us. And I get such a kick out of that. I just find it fascinating. And I think the reason that is so poignant to me in this moment is that I feel like so much is going on for me personally, but also in the world that seems so heavy and so like the entanglement of the problem seems insurmountable. And I truly believe that if we can't see a solution or it seems impossible, it's time to step back and expand our vision. It's time to make a space. And sometimes we don't know what that is yet. It's not always, okay, how can I see this differently? Yes, I totally believe that. But sometimes there's a pre-step to that that says, I know a solution is possible. Just to affirm, there's many solutions here, that sea of solutions, a realm of possibilities. You've expanded and made a space for the creation of solutions, for that infusion. You've made a space for spirit to flow in and through. And it isn't until we believe it's possible. If we just go, I don't see how this can happen. I've heard myself say that. And then I go, I don't have to. I need to back up and know it's possible and then allow myself to be shown. Then I can say, how do I engage in that? I am an active participant here. It's not, how am I going to be saved from this? It's grace comes, those things happen that are magical. And I say that so carefully because I don't mean it in the way that fairy dust is being spread around, that made it happen, or randomly you do or don't get this luck. I don't believe it that way. I believe that spirit flows in and through at all times. And as we make space, we experience more of it. We're just growing our capacity to experience it. The adjustment is that inner adjustment to allow more of it to come in. And I just think that there's so much about the part I read in the beginning, about believing that it is possible. I want to read you another little story that I thought was very poignant in here. It's just another of that same idea. Okay, this was a true story, and this gentleman named Alex was a young college student, senior math major in college. Alex's fervent hope was to win a coveted position as a graduate assistant. The only way to obtain the post was to receive the highest grade point average in the senior class. So everything hinged on the final exam. He was so anxious about it. He studied. The night before, he just was overworked, overtired, fell asleep at his desk, wakes up with 10 minutes to get to the test. He gets there, and the test has been underway for 10 minutes. So, he grabbed an exam booklet and began to work. As he moved through the test questions, Alex felt confident that he was completing the formulas accurately. Deftly, he breezed through the problems, and despite his lateness, he finished about 15 minutes before the allotted time was up. When he stood up to hand in his paper, however, he noticed that there were 2 more problems on the chalkboard. Alex was stunned. Apparently, the professor had brought these questions to the class's attention during the first few minutes of the exam when he had been absent. There was no way Alex could complete these formulas in the time left. He sat down to try, but he could finish only 1 in the 15 minutes he had. So he decided to appeal to the mercy of the professor. He asked the teacher if he could have some more time to solve the second problem. The professor told him he could take the question home over the weekend and hand in the work on Monday morning. Okay, so the student wrestled with the last formula the entire weekend, could not find a solution. He's getting anxious, he's getting worried, he knows there's all these other talented people in the class. As Sunday night became Monday morning, Alex went into deep despair. He fell back on his bed and stared despondently at the ceiling. At that moment, his mental fog was pierced by a loud knock at his front door. Puzzled about who could be calling on him at this late hour, he opened the door to find his math professor standing there with Alex's exam in his hands and an excited look on his face. "Do you realize what you've done?" the professor inquired. Alex was stymied. "Could I have done that badly on the test?" he wondered. "Alex, you have made mathematics history," the professor exclaimed. "What are you talking about?" "You have solved one of the classically unsolvable problems in mathematics." "How did I do that?" "It was the first problem on the chalkboard." "I thought that was part of the test." No, you silly boy, the professor laughed. Those were two scientific enigmas that were left on the board from the previous class. And you are the first person in history to unravel one. He said, but nobody told me they were impossible to solve, Alex explained. Perhaps that is exactly why you were able to solve it. Isn't that a great story? So I think that's it, is that when we get, the more entangled we get in the little nitty-gritty details of why this thing is so heavy or unsolvable, all those things could be facts, but they're not everything. They're not all the facts. There's always an and. If it hasn't come to a resolution, there's an and. And let me expand this some more. There's something I'm not seeing if it hasn't come to fruition yet. Can I expand my vision? Can I just open a space and know it's possible? Can I invoke in my prayers, in my affirmations, in my knowledge, that there are great minds solving these problems for Earth, that there is a spirit of love and peace and a wish for good, a goodwill, energy, regardless of background or belief system, et cetera, millions of people on this planet want peace. Millions just want love, regardless of all the other little facts you might hear about their life. That's what they want. So can we tie that together in our energy by seeing the connectedness, by affirming the connectedness of the will, the goodwill that is out there, that says this is solvable. It always has been solvable. And that where we stand feels so nitty-gritty and, all those little things. But as many people try to reassure us that step back, that are historians or whatever, that look at the whole scheme and they say, trends, it's all trends and it's ups and it's downs. Okay, but we're growing as people. We are evolving. And to trust that personally, as well as collectively, there is evolution happening. So how do I show up? That's my part as a spiritual seeker, journeyman, whatever you may call it. How do I show up with a more expanded vision? How do I put feet to that? What is my part in seeing the magic? And to me, the magic, all that means is it's the cherry on top. It's that little wink that says, yeah, there's something more going on here than you know. And can I trust that I don't have to know all of that to dwell in that flow? If I get on a raft in the river, I don't have to know how the water is going to move every little piece of me for it to do that. Do you understand what I mean? So it's like I can be in that flow without having to understand all the how. I think the how is God's part, or the spirit, or the however you want. And I really encourage you to come up with other names too for that divine source and that spirit, to make sure that you're speaking to something that you absolutely connect with. There is that. What expands you more? What helps you understand more? What helps you feel more connected? You personally have magic. And when I say magic, I mean there is something going on in you that is so magnificent that you have only seen the little tiniest bit of, that is deeply, deeply rooted in spirit. It only appears to be magic because we don't know how that works yet. But it really is very natural. There's a definition about magic that says it's like the supernatural, beyond what is natural. And I don't think that's how this works at all. I think what is natural is just way beyond our previous experience of it, and that there's so much joy out there for each and every one of us. I am so inspired by people who find joy in strange situations. It's like they're gonna find a way. And I'm not talking about people where it's toxic positivity in the sense that they go, no, 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 I'm not going to look at that because I don't want to see that, but rather, in my mind, I was thinking about a stew that you've got simmering on the stove, right? And you might take a little taste of it and go, what does that need? How do I need to show up to make this something that I want to be a part of me? What do I need to give it? What do I need to change about it to make it something that I want to experience? I don't have to eat a whole bowl of something that I don't like for me to know what I need to do to it. You know what I'm saying? There's a taste test. So yes, I need to listen to the news because I want to understand how I need to show up. But I don't have to eat the whole bowl. I don't have to sit and watch it for 12 hours to understand what it's calling me to do personally, for me to show up. So I need to understand, taste enough of it to get the idea of what's going on, and then what can I introduce? New ingredients. Something new has to happen for change to come. So what can I add to this to make it sweeter, to make it palatable, to make it whatever? Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's that checking in, but not forgetting to use the eyes to see what are the magical things in your life. What are those things in your life that you think back on and go, I don't know, I don't understand how that happened the way it did, but that's pretty amazing to me. I had speaking of Alan Cohen, who wrote that book, he was big into the Course in Miracles, he still is, and he had, for a year, around 84, 85, a group of people that were into the Course decided to, as an experiment, live together for a year and do the Course. And they called it Miracle Manor. And so as they were planning, and I think there were about 20 of them to start with, they sat down and they said, okay, unlimited, just for fun, let's see what we want this to look like. Like, what kind of place do we want to manifest? And let's see what would happen here, and this one would go, well, I would like this, but I don't, and they go, no buts. Let's just throw it out there and see. Just, what do you want? What do you think would be cool? Well, some of us will be working, so I guess it needs to be close enough to, downtown, but then it would be really great if it wasn't right in downtown so that it could be beautiful. And somebody else said, water, yeah, that'd be great. A little grass. Oh, wouldn't it be great if we could all have our own space? Well, that might be kind of crazy. We got 20 people. How would that work? Stop. Let's just put it down on paper. This is what we want. Somebody else goes, okay, if we're being goofy, I'm going to say a gazebo. And they said, okay, gazebo. They write it down, right? Okay, I don't remember how the connection was made, but somebody in the group happened upon an individual, and they found that for rent was an old nunnery. It had private rooms. It had a place where they could gather and do their prayers there in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. It had a huge kitchen and dining area so they could cook for everyone. They could lay it all out. And it had enough rooms for every person. It even had a section for this one family that came in with their children. And it was a bigger space than the individual cells, they called them, that the nuns had had. And it was on land with a stream running behind it and a gazebo. How do you explain that? Everybody knows stories like this. That's what I'm saying is it feels uncommon. The hairs on my arm raise. It feels uncommon, but I bet everybody in this room has stories like that. Okay, and that's not magic. That is just spirit saying, yeah, when you say yes, I can, oh yeah. Let's just feel that flood in. Let's just feel that flood in. And I think in those times when you don't feel like you're manifesting, it doesn't mean that you're not, you need to connect more in your awareness to feel, not to feel so distressed, absolutely. But to know that those roots are so deep, you can't disconnect. You only think you can. And so it's how do we reconnect with the deep roots? The little magical things that happen are just to say, it's like the little buds or little fruit, little berries that are popping up. They're not the main thing. The main thing is that connection, that deep-rooted connection that we have. So those little cosmic winks are just to say, yep, stay delighted, stay curious, stay open. How do I expand my vision? What else could happen here? What if there's not one solution but many, and I just need to relax and allow? Not one, but many. God is unlimited. God is unlimited. We are creations. We have been invited to experience the world that way. We've been given all we need, often in each other. We're meant to exchange. We're meant to be different. We're meant to exchange what we have so that we understand our connectedness, so that we foster each other along, because we're all in this together, right? So, what magic has been trying to happen to you? Just meaning what is beyond your comprehension that is delightfully, wonderfully, joyfully trying to happen to you, that you just need to look this way instead of that way. To just, expand. Make room for it. You know, if this is a good analogy. If I have too much stuff in my garage, the car doesn't fit in there, right? So it's that kind of idea to where if I fill my space with only those things that are irritating me, with only those things that I think I have to do, solve, you know, and I say, wait, let me just make some space for something new to happen. How do I make that space? And ask yourself, because that answer may be a little different for each of us, but a lot of it is just that, how do I allow? How do I come to more peace? The song was so perfect. It is well with my soul. And no matter what was going on in your lives, could you not feel that that is true? Somehow, my soul has everything I need, just I have the free will to choose to see it. So can we bring that into meditation, please? Oh, it is well with my soul. So perfect. And maybe you're sitting in a gazebo watching beautiful water rush by. And those people back in 1984 and 5 can't imagine that us right now today are using their little place as imagery for how perfect divine flow is. So isn't that magic in and of itself? There are many more minds that desire peace and love and joy to abound in the world than those that are not. We connect with them on a very sacred level at this time. And we call forth that part of us that does good in the world. And we step forward with our highest self and say, how do I show up in more joy? How do I give myself more joy? What would unlimited health look like in this body? You may feel a little checklist come up because of that, little tweaking that you want to do. But feel it first. Feel it first. Let your feelings guide you, that connectedness to the deep roots, that you are connected to all of these other people we mentioned. You are connected to that divine creation that knows perfection, that sees the flow, that inevitably leads to our understanding of our unlimitedness. It's already here. but our understanding and acceptance of it. Every droplet of water making a happy sound as it flows. What is that sound? Can we make that? What sound do we make? What resonates in our spirit when we trust that it is well with our soul? Can you remember your happy dance? Can you remember what it feels like to just say, ah, yes, yes, and thank you? In this time, picture yourself in front of a mirror. It's one of the hardest things sometimes for us to do. But ask to be shown this highest part of ourselves, the part that knows we're connected to the all. And the sparkle, the shine, is just that little reminder, the tap on our shoulder that we are deeply rooted in good. We are deeply rooted in goodness, in vitality, in good health, in prosperity, in abundance, connectedness with others, connectedness with the planet, with animals, with all life. Can we remember that it is well with our soul? Bring those memories deep, 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 deep. No walls are needed when you tap into this place, and you can let it sink and fill you. Releasing anything unlike that. Make space for the good. See the light in others' eyes and know that no matter what they say they're going through, can you see that twinkle and that spark and know for them their ability to heal spiritually, physically, emotionally? Can you know that divine spark of God is alive in them as much as any other being? The greatest minds, the greatest hearts, you are connected to. And by the nature, we lift each other. The nature of goodness itself. Those vital, strong connections that we think we can fall outside of God if we do something wrong, we make a mistake. We can't fall outside of God, only in our perception. So do we choose to know we're worthy enough to connect again? Sometimes we resist connecting because we don't think we're worthy, but that is exactly when we need to reaffirm how deeply rooted that connection is. We are one. You are one with the all. I am one with the all. And letting resonance, just like when Candy was singing, can you let that resonate in your being? Can you say the words your soul needs to hear? That's powerful. Can you say the words that your soul needs to hear? And breathe that into your body. And let's let the how of that be in Spirit's realm. We affirm health in these bodies of mind, body, and spirit. Health on all levels, and anything that we may have consciously left out, the root is still there. We don't have to see the root. It is there. We are lifting the all. And on that note, will you please bring into your conscious awareness all those ones that you would pray for in this time? And feel free to speak their names aloud at this time. Kim. If you haven't already, include all your family of origin, your extended family. Often these are those connections we find the most challenging. So regardless of whether they're still in your realm of awareness in your daily lives or anything, let's just see deep roots of light moving in and through them, that we don't have to know the how, that God, that great spirit flows through and heals. Great spirit flows through and heals. Just see the web of light connecting them to the all. We don't have to do anything right or wrong. We're just affirming, knowing for them their deep connection to everything they need. Thank you, thank you, thank you that we live in a benevolent, amazing world, infused with life, whose very goal is to sustain us and that we thrive, not just to survive, but to thrive in happiness, in delight, and a sense of magic. And we let it be so. Thank you.
This is pretty much a connection to exactly what you said. The cosmic giggle, that almighty smile.
Yes.
That good feeling. You know, back in the day, they used to sing the song, "Never alone, no, never alone. He promised never to leave me alone." Somebody want to do this?
Yes. Celebration of giving. Everybody together, please. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is. Thank you.
Ain't it nice to just move around? We got this, here we go. So if you choose to sing this song, if you know it, jump on in, here we go. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I'm here to say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. And yes, I I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. And with my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Said I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light, and I am free in the spirit. And yes, I'm only here for God. Tag it out. And I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Yay, God. Yay, candy. So thank you. Let's just thank you, God, for all the blessings and offerings, all the many, many gifts that come to this sacred space that we call Unity of Saxe. Come in many, many forms: time, treasure, talent. Thank you. So, okay, we have announcements. And then do you have them? Here you go.
Well, we had to cancel the peace, call to peace that we usually do on the fourth Sunday because Kim got sick. And so since this is her program, we decided to give her the day off totally. That's why Deborah's here. And we're hoping that she gets well very soon so she can come back and join us. And so next month, we'll do the call to peace on the fourth Sunday. So everybody come join us. We have a meal afterward, after service, and then you join us for the call to peace. It's a wonderful experience. If you haven't been to one, plan on it because you always come away with a feeling of peacefulness inside when you've been through this process, okay? The other announcement I want to make is Candy Williams has so graciously agreed to come visit us more often and sing.
Yay!
So what she has requested is that if anybody has a favorite song that they would like her to sing, they need to either email Kim or need to write it on a piece of paper and put it into the offering bowl back there, and we'll pass those off to Candy. If she doesn't know it, which I think is impossible, she'll learn it. She's not beyond learning. She'll learn the song, and then she will share it with us when she has it down. So we wanted to pass that on to you. So if everybody would join us in our vision and mission statement. We are Unity Spiritual Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers, transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teaching and the demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us.
Amen. So looking at that last statement, I just want to say that all those little wonderful things that are going on in your life, remember that's the tip of the iceberg to the deep solutions that are happening in your lives. So just feel the magic, feel that rootedness and the groundedness in spirit, and go forth and be joyful. Thank you for being here today. Namaste.